Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing a giant tomahawk steak. This thing is 2 inches of pure, thick, delicious steak. Presentation on these is all about where it's at. So we got the nice bone sticking out here, so we're going to clean that up so we don't get some weird fat kind of rendering on the ends of it and turning brown. We're going to clean up the bone. We're going to give it a healthy dose, probably an unhealthy dose really, of salt and pepper, and let that sit in the fridge overnight so that way it can dry brine, let all that salt soak into the meat and give us a little more tenderness as well. So what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to salt it. A whole lot of salt on this thing. And what we want to do too is make sure that we're getting all sides. Now most of this, a lot of this I should say over here is fat. The salt won't penetrate the fat, but I like to get it on there anyway, just so that way we make sure that we're getting as much flavor in the end meat as possible. And I got it on this cooking rack here, so we're going to put that in the fridge. That way the air can move all around it. We're going to get as much penetration as possible with all the salt. And I'm making a mess here. Good thing my wife is not home yet. This thing is a little more difficult to get all the sides here. So what I'm going to do, just clean this countertop. So I'm just going to take some of this salt here. Just kind of pat it around the sides. There we go. Got our salt and a nice mess to clean up. We're going to do the same thing with the pepper. I always like to give the pepper just kind of a little pat in, just so that way it sticks when I flip it over here. Go. Next we're just going to take a knife here and just kind of trim up this bone. It's going to have a lot of extra fat and just kind of silver skin on it here. So we're just going to go ahead and try to get as much of that off as possible. Like I said, just want a clean, nice clean bone in the end. And really this is all for presentation. If you're just cooking it for yourself at home and not worried about how it's going to look, how the bone is going to look I should say, you don't need to do this part. This isn't going to change the flavor or anything like that of the steak. This is completely for aesthetics. Alright, so this is what we're looking like at the end here before we sit it in the fridge. You can see bone nice and cleaned up there. Just gonna have a lot better color on it at the end here. So throw this in the fridge for 24 hours at least. And you can see, actually, look at all of our salt is soaked in here. So I'm actually gonna hit it with another dose of salt before we throw it in the fridge. And then we're gonna reverse sear this tomorrow. Because it's so thick, this is gonna be kind of a fun one. We're actually gonna go to a really, about 110 degrees internal temp. All right, it's been dry brining in the fridge for a little over a day actually now, so should have nice penetration from the salt. And we're gonna put it on here. We've got the smoker at 150 degrees. We're gonna let it sit there until we reach an internal temperature of about 100 to 110 degrees. Because it is so thick, I want a higher internal temp before we go and actually sear it, just because we're not gonna get as much heat penetration, obviously, in the center of the meat when we're doing that sear. So throw it on and take it off when we're at temp. The Tomahawk. Alright guys, we've got the steak on the smoker. Time to have a little bourbon. Today we have the Redemption Double Rye, or High Rye, excuse me. Smells pretty good when I was pouring it. It smells a little bit stronger than the regular rye that we had before. Definitely has a more rye flavor to it, or nose, excuse me. Definitely more of a rye flavor to it. Much more spicy initially, because that stronger, almost an ethanol-y flavor. It's good, but it is definitely this is more of what I would expect from a rye. That's good. Try a little bit on the rock here. Ooh, that actually enhances the ethanol flavor quite a bit. That was pretty warm actually coming in. Get a lot up through the nose, kind of get that warm nose feeling. But, yeah, I definitely would prefer it actually neat on the ice. It gives it just a different flavor. I'm not a big fan of how it changes the flavor, but Redemption High Rye Bourbon, give it a shot. It's very good. I think we'll probably do a comparison of all three of the Redemptions in the video coming up here. So we'll see which one's the best. All right, we've been on here for about 2.5, almost 3 hours now. So we reached an internal temp of about 105 last time I checked. So we're gonna pull it, we're gonna sear it, and this thing's gonna be amazing. Oh, it's like falling off the bone almost. Got some amazing smoke color to it. That thing is going to be tasty. The fat's rendering nicely. Alright, got our olive oil on here. And it is hot. So we're going to sear this probably about a minute on each side again. For me, it's all about the color, all about the texture, what it looks like. So we're going to do this, and we're going to sear the outside of this because it has such a large outside or edge to it. We're going to try to sear the edges as well. And the edge that we can't sear is going to be all bone, so that's not going to be a big deal. Right, get some real nice color there, so we're just going to get a lot more of our juice here that's going to spill away. Again, let that sit for about another minute. Then we're just going to get a nice sear on all that fat on the outside. If you're doing tomahawks without one of these gloves, man, you're going to hurt yourself. Because this is a whole lot of holding a real hot bone over some real hot surfaces. Alright, I think we're ready to pull. That is what we are left with. That is one beautiful looking steak. Alright, it's been 10 minutes. Let's cut this baby open and look at what we got here. Ooh, want to serve to your guests. Perfect. All right, let's give it a taste. All right, so since this is the tailgate steak, as they call it in the grocery store, I guess, we decided to have a little tailgate of our own, I guess, here for the taste testing. So we got the kid here, and let's give it a shot. I got a little of the outside kind of fat there, so that we had seared. Oh, that's good. Again, with the dry brining, the salt just all the way through. Get the pepper on top, that crispy crust.
That's good.
And again, all this is seasoned with is just salt and pepper, so easy to do. You just gotta have a little bit of time, and this is something you can impress some guests with for sure. You done yet?
No.
Alright guys, remember, like, subscribe, put any comments down below, tell me what you guys want to see me do next. So, yeah, I guess I'll see you next time.